Okay, this is a video response to Mrs. Makawimaxton. This is symbolic. You did a video called White in America. A friend sent it over to me, and I really wasn't going to respond, primarily because, well, one, your viewpoint or your worldview really appears to be very encapsulated, and I really didn't see anywhere where I could, any leverage point to really open your mind from. The other reason too is the video struck me as just being pretty much a sort of a spiteful video, meant really to just cause harm and to provoke, rather than any genuine attempt to reach out and communicate. So it's simply a provocative video, and I didn't think it was worthy of communicating with you on that. However, a friend asked me sincerely to respond to your video, so that's what I'm doing. One thing I find remarkable about your video is you're speaking in a quiet voice. You say because your child is sleeping nearby, so you're speaking in a low voice. But what you're communicating in your tone and your mannerisms is really anger mixed with fear, which comes off really almost as, well, perhaps it's too strong a word, but it comes off really as almost a kind of a hatred, certainly an anger. And it's a hurtful video, filled with stereotypes. And you're smiling throughout the whole thing as if you're enjoying making it. That's why I say this is really I think you're sort of venting negative emotion in this case. Now, you're doing this in the presence of your child. That's what's amazing to me. It adds a sort of well, it adds very unfortunate aspect to your video. They say that hatred is taught in the cradle, and I'm afraid that's what you're doing. Your child, I don't know how old the child is, maybe too young to understand the specific words that you're speaking, but your tone, the message you're communicating, the emotion, children are like sponges for that. So I really encourage you to get past the place where you're at. Get rid of the fear and get rid of the anger, transcend those. And if you want to communicate with people, make an honest video where you openly invite people to communicate. Not one such as this. Anyway, let me start to kind of go point by point. I'm going to try to use some reason and some knowledge. Let me start with standard English usage in the English language. Every form of English being spoken is English. Now, what we were taught in the schools is called standard English language. That's what they call it, standard English usage. It's not called the English language. We don't study the English language in school. We study standard usage of the English language. And it's simply that. It was invented by academicians. And, it's interesting because in some of your other videos, or at least one of your other videos, you express a distaste for academicians. You don't like, you say you really don't want to go to college, and you don't think they have anything to teach you. And yet here you are referring to a creation of the academicians and getting really quite angry that anyone would vary from standard English usage. We all vary from standard English usage. The word axe is a valid word when it's used to mean ask, which is another usage of the language. Absolutely valid. It's not and it's not a substitute for ask. It's a word in itself. Languages have dialects. Languages are fluid. They're dynamic. They evolve. They change. The English that you are speaking, the form of English you are speaking, is not the same language your parents spoke. If your parents spoke English, I don't know. So language dynamic. It evolves. It changes. It has various forms. So everybody is speaking English. Basically, that's the story there. You mentioned that there's a double standard. Yeah, there is a double standard, but I think you've sort of flipped the scales of justice on this one. The incident that you experienced with the coworker who was for some reason permitted to wear a different form of dress. If there was really a dress code in force, and the manager did not enforce the dress code, that's the fault of the manager. It's not the fault of the employee in that regard, you know. So really, bad management is the culprit here. What else do we have? I don't see, well, let me start here. We'll do a little deconstruction, and I don't have time to fully deconstruct this to you. But the concepts you're using, the abstractions you're using of the white man and the black man are simply that. They're abstractions. They do not exist in reality. Now, you know, the ability of our minds to generalize and to abstract is a wonderful tool. It makes our minds very powerful. But the danger and the risk is it can lead us into fallacies of thought, into believing that abstractions actually exist, and some abstractions do not exist. The white man does not exist. It's a pure abstraction, you know. And white is a color and black is a color, and they have many, many connotations. I don't have the time in one video. I mean, I could take 2 whole videos deconstructing that, but the white man does not exist and the black man does not exist. So any of what you believe is logic that is flowing from these concepts is inherently false because the premise is false. I've seen, I had several videos like yours sent to me, and I just wish, oh, yours is unique, you know, but I wish people would read more. I really do. I know that you don't really want to go to college. That's fine, but I really encourage you to read broadly in many fields. You might find starting with anthropology to be beneficial, where you learn about different cultures and you know, just the fact that you're living in one culture and one subculture of a culture. It's not right, you know. It's not the correct culture or the correct way to speak. It's simply one among many. I have a couple videos up on the race card. The race card is an invention of the media. The concept is another abstraction. It's a concept of the media. No one is playing a game, and there are no cards being played. Life is a serious endeavor. If you look at it as a game, then there are a lot of other cards dealt, and they're usually dealt at the time of birth. You say there's no respect for, again, the white man, which is something that doesn't exist, and I don't know what you mean. Well, I think I know what you mean. And the white man, there's no gratitude for what the white man has done for people. See, here's the thing. Another contradiction in what you're saying. On the one hand, you're saying that you are not responsible and should not be held responsible for other people's actions in the past. You know, maybe what you would think of as the white race, you know, or your ancestors. I'm not sure how you frame that in your mind. You know, you should not be held accountable because you did not do these things. On the other hand, you expect gratitude and respect for actions that were apparently taken by others in the past, you know. So it's a contradiction. I mean, you basically want gratitude and respect for what you imagine to be good things, but you don't want to take responsibility for any of the things that you imagine to be bad things. You can't have it both ways. You just can't, you know. And the whole concept of the white man is illusory anyway. Then sort of at the end of your video, you throw in a sort of a little quote, a little snippet from you know, the Declaration of Independence, I think, you know, all men are created equal. So you sort of drape yourself with the flag. You know, you mentioned in the video that you felt intimidated all your life. You believe that a majority, more than 50% of a group is basically relating negatively to you. Just consider that if 50% of any group that you perceive, or what you perceive to be a group, is giving you negative energy, they may just be reflecting back to you what you are sending out. You know, you may find that that's what's happening, and you may be misinterpreting as well. But you may want to look at your own manner. Ostracized for success. Success is relative. I measure success completely differently than you do too. I'm sure. So, what is success? And who's ostracizing you? I don't understand that. Anyway, I would say, you know, your video is tragically mean-spirited, and in the presence of your child is tragic. If you want to have a dialogue, PM me or what have you, but please read. Read broadly, read as much as you can, educate yourself in this regard. Reading will open your mind, expand your intellectual horizons, and you'll see things much more clearly and understand yourself as well as others much more clearly. All right, that's the video.